He says he's one of the best grapplers in Australia. But is he? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion. Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because we're killing
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mr. Tinley and today's guest is Diellon Lihari. Now he fights out of Absolute MMA in Collingwood, one of the super gyms of Australia, trains with the likes of PFL/Bellator fighter Joseph Luciano, UFC superstar or near superstar or eventual superstar, UFC really good fighter, Jenkins, of course Sam Miles, who's climbing the ranks himself. Just some really, really great guys under the legendary Simon Carson. Diellon is a fighter who built up a lot of hype, becoming a pretty dominant champion under Demolition Fight Series, which used to no longer around anymore, but used to be one of the best sort of breeding grounds for future champions, you know, home of the great Harry Webb, Jono McAuliffe, who's now in the UFC, run by Wayne Carl. It was a very, very good promotion, and Diellon Lihari kind of was a bit of a face of that promotion. I think his opponent's records were something like 20-5 at Demolition Fight Series. So, and he's amateurs, and then he's kind of weirdly retired. We've covered it before in our previous interviews with Diellon, and he just sort of walked away from the sport. He got a bit over it, and kind of shockingly came back in a John Farnham-esque way of returning from his retirement. Went pro, beat Isaac Dean on Demolition, actually. And now he's sort of wanting to really make a run. You know, he even says in the interview he thinks he'd go quite well against none other than the eternal welterweight champion, David Martinez. Diellon's a very interesting guy. Good relationship with him. He's a good chat. Don't get it twisted. He is very fucking dangerous. He is a very, very scary fighter. He really is one of the best grapplers going around. He thinks he's the best, and his striking is extremely underrated. So, look, he takes on Peter Templar, March 15th, Eternal MMA 94 in the Gold Coast. Hopefully everything in Queensland is going up well with the cyclone going on. Hopefully sort of there's no issues heading into that event. Look, Diellon, taking on Peter Templar. Peter Templar, if you don't know, he basically picked up Submission of the Year back in 2023 when he beat Lachlan Stitt, who at the time was one of the most hyped prospects in all of Australian MMA. Lachlan would eventually end up going on to become the Eternal MMA welterweight champion by beating an absolute stud in John Varkey. So look, bit of explaining into this, but it's just more so that you understand just how good Diellon Lihari sort of is viewed, and kind of the projection that might come with Mr. Lihari. So he's part of the Absolute MMA team, and he does a lot of work with MA1, and just, he's a hell of a fighter and great chat. So, guys, without further ado, we're going to go hear from our friends at Vex, and on the other side, Diellon Lihari. But remember, if you're a coach, if you're a gym, if you're a fighter, if you're an event, and you're looking for insurance, hit up combatsportsinsurance.au. They can help you with everything that you need. There you go. That's a bit of an ad. All right, guys, Timecodes down the bottom. Skip to your favourite bit. On the other side, Diellon Lihari.
Vex MMA has officially teamed up with PRP Global, and their brand new website is now live. Head over to Vex MMA to check out their latest gear, perfect for fighters and fans alike. Whether you're stepping into the cage or just repping the lifestyle, Vex MMA has you covered.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. One of my least favourite guests, Diellon Lihari. Welcome.
Mitch, how are you, mate?
Yeah,
Hate
good,
to be
mate.
here, but here we are.
No. March 15th, taking on Peter Templar, Eternal MMA 84. I actually think you're going to lose. How do you think you're going to go?
Look, it's the kind of fight where I'm like, I don't see where my path to victory is. But go in there, just at a one to the loss column on the record and see where that goes.
Well, I mean, that's what you wanted with your pro career, isn't it? I mean, you weren't even supposed to do it. You just wanted one pro fight. You got a victory. You're like, what's a loss feel like?
Yeah, yeah. No, we're well keen to get in there. It's an exciting fight. It's like, you you experience it a bit through the amateurs, and even my last pro fight, like, who you're going in there against. And he's definitely the best guy at four. So it'll be a cool test to see how that goes.
Yeah, man. It's weird. Peter Templar came in, just derailed like a massive hype train. I don't think anyone realized how good Lockie Stitt was at the time. And then he just bounced. It was like May 2023, and then he was like, all right, cool, submission of the year. See you later. Like,
yeah.
Do you know why he's coming back, or what the
So obviously you do a bit of research on your opponent. He had heaps of Muay Thai fights. He was like Muay Thai Australian amateur champ or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he got, but he went out to, I think, Super Fight in Queensland. A bunch of Muay Thai fights. Now he's at CMBT, so I'm not sure what happened exactly, but yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I feel like if you go to CMBT, I'm like, oh fuck, they're taking it seriously now.
Yeah, not a bad way to look at it. There's not a whole lot going on there in Queensland, and they seem to be the place where they try. Oh, actually, that's false. There's actually quite a few good gyms in Queensland.
Yeah, it's so disrespectful. Team Competence really upset about you, and they get real mad about that. So and they'll be there. They'll be at Eternal too. So
I'm sure they'll be supporting the other guy just like you.
Well, it's like Pete Temple. Obviously,
you just won't be at Eternal.
No. I'll be watching from afar. Hey, we don't know where I'm at with them. We can be best friends by Monday. You don't know that. Like, look, when you get the client from Perth, you get a little bit like, hey, what's going on here? But especially when you live in Perth, which is always fun. But hey, a couple of shows earlier, I did a live stream from backstage. So you never know. Sometimes we're best friends. But no, Peter Templar, man, like a souk black belt. He's probably almost a better submission grappler than he was even Muay Thai, and he's taken 18 months off to be really sick at Muay Thai. Does that bring fear to your heart?
I think I back myself as, if not the best, one of the best grapplers in the country. And I know like jiu-jitsu belts, this, that, but I think we've seen that it really means shit. So I don't think he's going to have an advantage in the grappling department as much as the black belt versus purple belt thing might make it look. And I do back my striking against him. I know he's put a lot of time into his Muay Thai, but I still think he's a bit of that, he's a jiu-jitsu guy who's sort of transitioned into MMA. I think that might still come across in his striking a little bit, whereas I kind of started with the whole MMA thing, and I just feel I have a more well-rounded base.
Are you a purple belt?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I've been, you know what it is?
You know what, mate? You should head on up to Queensland and help people with the flooding, because I've never seen such a sandbag.
That's horrible. I think because I asked Simon about it every other month, he just keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah, he's that type of guy. Well, like, isn't Joey, didn't Joey Luciano only just get his bloody brown belt?
Yeah, he just got his brown belt.
What is Simon doing? It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Sandbag league up there.
Yeah, he's going to hear this, and I probably won't get it till fucking next year now. But look, I'm not complaining. It doesn't really matter once you're sort of a professional fighter. No one really looks at belts anymore. You have fights that people look at before they fight you, so it is what it is. Well,
some people are like super protective of jiu-jitsu as well. Like so with like belts, it's kind of like you could submit, I don't know, Islam Makhachev, but it's like, he only went to 2 jiu-jitsu classes a week. Can't give a shit.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, no, look, I'm not complaining. But
you sound like you are.
I'd love to get a couple belts this year, and that's one of them.
Do you get in the gi at all?
Mate, I reckon the last time I got in the gi it actually came up as a memory a couple of weeks back, 3 years ago, for Simon's black belt grading.
Really? And that's like, you probably just chucked that on just randomly.
And that was like 2 years after I'd last got in the gi. So yeah, I know a lot of people, like, you hear people talking about it makes your game better, this, that. I don't know. Someone grabs my fucking jacket and puts like, I'm not there for it.
That doesn't make any sense. I feel like someone's taken that and run with it because it's like that's like going like, oh, your Aussie rules like makes you better if you play rugby. It's like that doesn't make any sense. Like your Aussie
Yeah, like
rules is
there might be some like small, some small applications, but at the end of the day, playing footy Aussie rules is going to make you better at
yeah,
playing fucking Aussie rules.
exactly.
I agree fully.
Now, mate, some people might not be watching visually, but I implore them to on YouTube. Can you explain to me which bits of you are real? The peroxide blonde or the slit in the eyebrow?
Wait, which bit's real?
Yeah,
Look, the to be fair, I've actually got a scar here.
that's sick.
So I thought I'd just run with it and get it done at the barber.
Oh, so you did do it.
Yeah, no, I did it. And then yeah, the peroxide blonde. That's look, I don't think it's a secret. I don't have too many haircuts left in me. But the blonde seems to hide everything. And I haven't lost blonde hair, so I'm just running with that.
Nah, it's cool. I think it's a cool look, bro. I think
Thank you, bro.
you're doing well. Doing well.
I'll
Now,
take that with a grain of salt.
what's what's the whole deal, man? You were supposed to be fucking retired, and then now you're like booming again.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it look retired. I was a fucking amateur fighter who had a couple fights.
Okay, you had more than a couple of fights. You were like a fucking pretty legitimate champion, a pretty great promotion. Everyone thought you were going to be an absolute superstar, and then you walked away. Like I know you're being like humble, but like you were quite the prospect, and then you walked away, and everyone was a bit like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it was. I don't like looking back on it. It was probably the best thing that happened to me.
Oh,
Just like I don't know why, but I just like since 18, I met sort of Joey Luciano and Sam Miles, and we've been training together every day. I quit my job like 3 months in. I probably just I don't know. I was a bit over it for a bit.
mm.
So it took sort of 6 to 12 months where it wasn't like I was out of the gym. I was just training like maybe like 4 or 5 times a week instead of fucking 2 or 3 times a day. Took a bit of time away, and then yeah, it just reignited my passion for the sport. I think I grew a lot mentally through that time, just as a person, like as a young bloke making his way through life, and I found myself in a pretty fucking good spot now.
What are you doing outside in terms of like because you got a lot of PT and stuff, but is you run
Yeah,
that like
so
a business?
I run my PT business, and now I'm also working full time at Absolute. So PT business full time at Absolute, fucking trying to
Like
fight.
like full time and absolute, or like how Simon is like, oh yeah, here's a job, but you guys don't really do shit.
Nah, mate, I'm the fucking facilities manager. All right,
What does
fucking
that
middleman.
mean?
You don't need to know.
What facilities? What are you doing?
Nah, so I run the Collingwood gym, the retail store, obviously all the classes,
I don't hear much about that. That makes sense.
all the classes. So I can run the retail stores for the other gyms, and just yeah, just a bunch of boring, mundane shit, but pays the bills.
Do you reckon you're any good at it, or is it still a favor from Simon?
Actually, hold on. Let me just rephrase. I said boring, mundane shit, and that sounds fucking horrible. I love my job, and it's like I've never been so happy working anywhere. That sounds. When I say
Mate,
boring mundane shit, it's not like fighting. You're not fucking thrill seeking. But no, seriously, it's a fantastic job. They treat me really well. They're very accommodating with the fights and stuff, obviously, because they're my coaches. So yeah, it's pretty unreal.
mate, if you back up like that in the fight, you're gonna get knocked out.
It was a fucking slip of the tongue.
I'm editing this last bit out anyway. I'm leaving it at mundane. I might even make a reel about it.
Go fuck yourself.
I might even just
Hey,
purely send that.
I know you're not allowed at the fights, but I will run into you sooner or later.
I don't know, man. It was it was a stalemate when we had that grappling match in the middle of St Kilda Street.
Did we?
No, you always grab me for no reason, and you've got that.
Yeah.
And I know we're politically correct here, but you've got that retard strength.
I do. I do.
Very
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's actually it's very scary. Like
Well,
when
that seems to be the secret to being the best welterweight in the country. Apparently, that retard strength.
How dare
I'm
you.
like, that is that's my pathway, and
How
it
do
clearly works.
How do you I'm gonna go I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for assuming I know who you're talking about, or if you're going to get in trouble for doing it. But like, how do you think you go against the welterweight champion, David
I think it's a
Martinez?
really fucking interesting fight. Look, like, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think people don't give him his credit.
Nah.
The blokes had like 25, I think 25 or 30 pro fights. You saw against Costello, even his striking looked pretty fucking good. He was jabbing his face off. He's obviously, I know we joke, he's obviously strong as an ox. He gets to where he wants to be, and that's on the back, and he does it well. Even I didn't see what happened, but I know he had that loss on Brave. Apparently, that was bullshit.
Oh yeah. That was
Yeah,
great.
I don't know what happened, but no, I think I genuinely think he's a killer, and he's obviously walking around a bit heavier at a solid weight. But saying that, I think I'm the best grappler in the country. I think I'm the most opportunistic grappler, and I think I could submit anyone. So, obviously I'm a 1-0 fighter.
Nah.
But hopefully down the line, if he's still around, that sort of works its way together.
You talk about your grappling. Everyone knows how good a grappler you are, but your striking be looking crisp, bro. What have you been doing?
Yeah, we got Lam Tong Linoy down here at Absolute. I think you met him potentially. You've been
Yeah,
down, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's a Thai coach from Thailand. He fought at Rajendram Lumpini. He's really good, and we literally have him every day to get on the pads with. You get your 5 rounds. He's running the classes, and yeah, just reps on reps. The training load's been high for like the past 3-4 months, just fucking striking, and I feel that's something which people might underestimate coming into fight me.
I definitely do. Now, when it comes to like actually like getting, say, the striking, say, focusing on it, right, in a
Yeah,
fight camp, you're a sick grappler, right? But do you go, oh well, I can't neglect that just to kind of focus on my striking? Like, how do
yeah,
you
no,
balance it?
nah, fuck no. I think personally, and I might be wrong, but I think the biggest mistake a lot of people make is, especially good grapplers, once their hands start getting better and you start sparring well, they just fucking delve deep into that. I think what makes obviously getting good at striking is one thing. I think being a real dangerous grappling threat also opens up the striking. So you got to continue doing what you're best at. I remember seeing a video, like there are heaps of those sparring videos with Habib and the Daggies, and they're just striking heaps. And obviously they're all real good wrestlers. But he's like, what the fuck are you doing? You got to wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. So I kind of try and keep that always at the forefront.
Yeah, I mean, I always use this example, but like when I was like 9 or 10, I
Mm,
watched like the Australian cricket team train in like when Darwin, where I grew up, and
yeah.
like a bowler that was like known as the shittest batter, right, in Glen McGrath. It was like the worst batter in
Yeah,
the
it's
world.
horrible.
But
That's
yeah, but you watched him in the nets, and he was fucking amazing. And I was like to my
yeah.
dad, but he's real good. And Dad's like, oh, there's like levels. He's like, he
Mm,
would smoke anyone not in the Australian team. Like it was like he'd
yeah.
hit like 100, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what I think people assume that like if you're a grappler, your striking versus like some average Joe is like real horrible or something. It's like no, your striking's like bad compared to like some fucking champion kickboxer, but it's
Yeah.
not compared to like everyday guys as like
100%.
pro fighters.
100%. I also, fuck, sorry, that morning coffee's really run through me. Um, yeah, I also think what I'm starting to realize is the level is just in general, the level between like the top and wherever any fighter finds himself isn't necessarily as big as you kind of think early days. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting trying to just see how that goes, close the gap, and try and make a run this year.
Who have you been mixing it up with the most? Because obviously I know old Jackie Jenkins taking some time off or with his injury and stuff as well. Joseph
Yeah.
Luciano probably just doesn't care about you because he's in the big leagues now. Like who's been
Oh
mixing it up
mate,
with you?
honestly, I reckon I haven't heard from Joey in about 4 months.
Yeah, no, fair.
He's gone absolutely nah.
He's on that Bellator money, so he'll be.
Is it Bellator or PFL now?
That's all the same shit.
Yeah,
He'll be back though because that won't
yeah.
last.
Honestly, all I hear is Dylan Water. And I'm there with a water bottle, fucking what he wants, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, fair.
Do you need your clothes cleaned, sir?
Yeah.
But, it's good having a high level guy like Joey in the gym. Obviously we got Joey, we got Sam Bales, we got Samad Jahanara.
Oh, yeah, actually, it's okay.
Yeah.
Off Samad coming back. How good's that?
Mate, unreal. It's worked out perfectly because he's he's a fucking killer. But just recently he's just been in such good nick, like physically, which maybe he's not always the most shreddy bloke in the room, but he's fucking got a full for the past like 4 weeks. He's had a full six pack.
Yeah, he's looking jacked.
He's been jacked. He's been training hard. I think everything's kind of lined up perfectly for him, and both those boys bang. So I'm fucking keen to see.
Yeah,
Keen to see how that plays out.
He's got that like looks like an accountant, but can kind of like just absolutely bang with anyone. And people need to know like Kandiata's basically going to fight for a eternal title at some stage, and Samad beat him. So it's like that, like striking. So it's like that shows how good Samad is. But yeah, I feel like he's really slept on a bit.
Yeah, I think people like you said, and you're in Perth, Kandiata he took a fucking hard route and he just lost some fights against some top guys. He's a fucking killer. And Samad fucking went at him. I think Samad's going to go on a little run this year, and you'll see him in a good spot by the time the year ends.
I feel like though a lot of you boys, and maybe I don't know, maybe it's training, maybe you can sort of shed some light. It feels like a lot of you guys are dealing with a fair bit of injuries though. Like, you've had some issues before. Maybe not now, but I feel like recently you've had like
I don't know. Like I feel like that's just part of the sport. Like obviously there are major injuries like fucking ACLs, PCLs, except like broken bones. I don't think you can do the sport without having injuries going into a fight or just like little niggles. Obviously Jenko in his last fight, that's a fucking absolute outlier. But yeah, I don't feel it's too bad, the injury thing. Everyone's sort of usually training. Sometimes you got to change the structure around, but it's pretty, it's been pretty solid.
Talk about Jack Jenkins. I mean, what was your thoughts when you heard of obviously the news of his injury, like essentially like a cracked throat, and how's his recovery?
Mate, it was fucking wild. Like obviously you're going into a fucking fist fight, but you don't really like, you think, okay, what's the worst that happens? I get knocked out.
Yeah.
That's just like, absolutely wild. He fucking came out so hot as well. He started that fight so well. And then just, once he came out, it made sense because even though the other guy threw out that triangle attempt, he dominated that first round. And then you could just tell the second round, something was wrong. We didn't know what it was. You could just tell something was wrong. And then obviously, it makes sense after the fact.
Yeah. And is that a weird situation? Like too, like, are you like, even with teammates, are you just sort of like, unlucky bud? Like, what do you do? What do you say?
It depends on the teammate, you get me? Like some people take things differently. I know with Jack, same with the Hepe fight where he's been unlucky where he did his collarbone and he was dominating that fight even more so than the last one. He's always been like, what am I trying to say? People are always like, oh, you're winning that fight, this, that. But he's like, I lost.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, you don't try to sugarcoat it or anything, but you got to just understand what a person is like and try to look at it on that level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then how do you deal with someone else who's had a bit of almost like a cursed fight in Sam Miles and the Jackson Weir White fight? What's that been cancelled like 5 times?
Mate, that's been fucking wild. I feel for Sammy. I feel like his whole career, like pullouts happen and everyone's got to deal with them. I feel I've been quite touch wood. I've been quite lucky where I haven't had anything sort of past like 4 weeks out, pull out, which has been unreal. He's had almost fucking nearly every fight he's had, I feel, either change up or pull out, injuries, this, that. So that's rough. But when he does get a good luck, good run of form, like in terms of just fights coming through, I think he's ready to show the country where he's at.
with injuries, I mean, you're a man that's like in the trenches, if you will. But
Mm.
like, what do you? A lot of people, I think, just go, "Oh, well, maybe don't train as hard." Like, but you can't, can you? Because it's like you need to operate at such a high level to get ready for a fight.
Yeah, you can't just not train. I think you can manage your load. Uh, like I think there's a big part of being a professional athlete is and not just showing up and going all out all the time, but it's how you manage that load and having a good system in place. Obviously, we have Simon who he runs a whole system. He's a fucking genius, probably too much for his own good sometimes. So he's got everything. He's got everything down to the T. And then you gotta know what your body's like. I started running a lot more this camp, more than I've ever done. And sort of doing like 20 Ks a week over 2 runs,
Whoa.
coming from no running. The gas tank feels great, but then your body starts
Yeah.
to feel it a little bit. So you just got to adjust. So yeah, just make those adjustments. Be smart, as said by the great Joseph Luciano. Don't be a dumb cunt.
Get
And
off the
yeah,
gear.
that's it. Get off the gear. Yeah.
How do you run with your head? Do you have to like?
I've been told, I don't know, I've seen a video. It's kind of like, I imagine seeing you shadow box Mitch. You probably feel like you know what you're doing. And then you probably look at a video back. That's how I feel when I write. I look at a video back. You know what it's like guys come into the gym, they like a jiu-jitsu blue belt, purple belt. They think they shadow box well. Take their top off in front of the mirror, check themselves out. And then you see the video back and you're like, fuck, that's not what I thought. That's my running.
Yeah, there's a few like I've been like hitting pads real well, like so in my head. Like I've been
Yeah.
hitting pads real well. And like I keep telling the guy, he's like a young fighter, right? I'm like, oh man, maybe you should like you post it. Like I'll help you like promote your like personal training.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he like showed me the video and I was like, oh maybe not yet, eh?
It's never what you think it is, mate.
It's not,
Mate,
bro.
they used to fuck me so much earlier. I'd be like, oh fuck. And then I'm like, is that what I look like? Uh
I was hitting them in the new Vex pad. New like I got some Vex boxing gloves, which is a great sponsor by the way.
wow. Yeah.
And like like when you get like I'm not saying the gloves are like what does it right, but like it's like for the person, maybe it fits your hand right, you throw it like whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And it cracks, and I'm like, it's like gunshots in my head. I'm like, man, I feel like Harry Webb. You know, when you see
Yeah.
him hit pads, I was like, fucking,
Mate, yeah, he's fucking.
I reckon I look fucking like that. And then I watched it back and I was like, is that in slow motion?
Yeah, it's never what you think it is. I feel the same way. Wearing the brand new MA1 gloves and pads, I feel fucking. I feel. I feel like Harry Webb too. Those MA1 pads, they get the job done.
I'll tell you what. Nah, none of those. No, I don't care what the gear is, mate. Can't fix this. It cannot fix this. Mate. Before I let go, give me a prediction. How's the fight going on March 15th?
Inside 2 rounds.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. I'm pretty confident. Truly left nose. I know everyone says it, like every county best can, but like it's probably the first fight I've gone into ever where it's like if I get done, it's nothing that I didn't do. It's like fair play to the other guy. So I have the utmost confidence in my ability to finish it inside 2.
And to just like clear it all up for everyone, is this like still a career for you, or are you still kind of
Yeah, I'm looking to make a run this year. I know I took the time off and whatnot, but I'm in a lucky position where I'm still quite young. I'm 25. Get a couple wins together this year. If I can get to sort of like 4-0, 5-0, I think that puts me in a real strong position to make a run wherever I want to go. So that's the goal.
Like you look 35.
I know, mate. That's why the blonde hair keeps me young.
All right, Slim. I appreciate your time. I will not probably see you in the Gold Coast, but I'll be bloody cheering you on from here.
All right, love your work. Thank you, Mitch. Good speaking to you.
You're the man.